Welcome back, thanks for watching again. We're going to do a fairly quick video here. Open up your animation tab by clicking this context menu, add tab animation. Once you're here, click the robot. Go to this pull down here, this drop down, and go create new clip. Let's save it in the animation folder. And name it player attack. This will be very similar to the enemy's attack, except I'm going to make it much shorter, so it's not going to be a complete roll. It's going to be like a headbutt for now. So go to the sprites for the roll animation. We're going to use the first 4 sprites, 0 through 3. First, let's change this to 12. Drag all these sprites over here. Let's play it. See, it's kind of like head banging right there. We can make it a little more smooth by adding a couple more frames. Let's take 2, work our way back, and then 1. And then because it loops, we don't actually need 0. Play that again. And a little better there. Now to get your Animator tab open, go to Window, Animator, click the boy again, and we'll have to zoom out, or you can't really do that, so I'll maximize here. And this character already has all of these states, and we've seen some of these before. We really just need this any state here in the idle. So kind of like the jumping one, from any state you'll be able to attack. So right click, create state, empty. Now that we kind of know where we are, let's unmaximize this. Alt drag to move around. Alright, click this new state. We're going to rename it to attacking, like the jumping, so it's attacking. Pick the motion that we just created, the animation, player attack. Everything else here should be default. Let's start making the transitions. So from any state, you can go to attacking. So right click, make transition. Click this transition. Scroll to the bottom and you'll see, how do we get into this attacking state? Well, we need a parameter. So create a new parameter here, make it a trigger, which is new, fairly new. Call it attack. Go back to this attack transition. There you go. Add in attack now. And it's not like a Boolean, it doesn't have to be true or false, it's just going to trigger once. I got this working best when I unchecked fixed duration and set this transition duration to 0, set this to current state, and left everything else checked. So that should work for this transition. Now let's create the transition from attacking to idle. So idle is this orange one over here. It's your default state. Click the transition. This one we do want an exit time, but since our animation is fairly short, let's change this to 0.1. Leave fixed duration checked. Leave this, no offset. In this one we don't actually need a condition. Like I said, triggers, they turn themselves off after they run once, so we're fine here. The exit time will handle the actual transition. It will trigger the transition for us. So if we play with this Animator tab open and we manually trigger the attack, you could see the transitions occur from any state to attacking to idle. Next, let's work on the script that will trigger that for us. In 2D scripts, platform 2D user control, open that up. Unity now uses Visual Studio as its default IDE instead of MonoDevelop, but you could switch that if you really wanted to. Here's how I'm set up over here on the Solution Explorer. we seem to have 3 different places where the scripts are. In this one, you'll see the scripts for the standard assets under plugins. You'll see some more scripts for the editor here if you wanted. Here's the scripts that we created. To get this out of the way, I'm going to go Window, Hide All. And if you ever need to get back to it, it's just Solution Explorer over here. And that's all you really need to know for now. Let's create a couple private variables for this script. Private bool m_attack. The second one is private animator m_anim. Let's instantiate the animator in awake. m_anim equals get component, type of component, which is animator. How do I know that it's an animator, and how do I know exactly what to get? Well, because this is all going to be on our character robot boy. You see the animator here as a component to this object. Scroll down and you'll see the script that we're working with here. So this script is going to grab that animator component. Now let's work on the button that we're going to make later, how we respond to button presses. So first, if the button is pressed up, we want to set a variable to false. So cross-platform input manager dot get button up. Now the name of the button is called Fire1, and I'll show you where that name comes from a little bit later. So the variable that we want to set to false is the m_attack variable that we made earlier. And now the opposite, if it's clicked down, so else if cross-platform input manager dot get button down. Now this is the same name, Fire1. We want to set that same variable to true. If you let up on the button, it sets it to false, and if you hold it down, it's true. Next, if that variable is true, if the button's being held down or just pressed, we can now trigger the attack, but only if we're not already attacking. If not, m_anim dot get current animator state info 0. It's always going to be 0, the first one. Dot is name, and we need a string for that state name, which is attacking. So if we're not already in the attacking state, go ahead and trigger it. m_anim dot set trigger attack. So we set that trigger parameter to attack, and that will kick off the transition to attacking. Let's go ahead and save this script. It's done. File, save all. Minimize Visual Studio. So we were referencing this attack parameter and this attacking state. The final thing we need to do is create a GUI button. Open up Canvas, Game UI. Just like this mobile joystick, we're going to take the button for attacking out of a prefab. So go to cross-platform, prefab, mobile single stick control. Drag it into the scene. Open it up. So that was the mobile joystick we used last time. Now drag this jump button under Game UI, right under the mobile joystick, and delete this prefab. Click the jump button, change its name to attack button. Let's position it. We'll anchor it to the bottom right. Set the X to 400, the Y to -120. Set the width to 100, the height to 100. Scale is 1:1:1. And you'll see it doesn't quite line up with the joystick. Let's make that consistent. So bottom left anchor for the mobile joystick. The X is -400. The Y is -120 still. And let's change the size to 100 and 100. And this will shrink a bit when we change the scale down to 111. Let's go back to the attack button. I want to change the color here. Something unique. Let's go with red for attack. And if you scroll down, you'll see this event trigger component. This is where our pointer down, pointer up, or touch or whatever gets assigned to this Gui button. And then the input here on the button handler, we change the name to Fire1. And where does this input name come from? Edit, Project Settings, Input. This is where all of the buttons are defined. So whether it's a controller or a keyboard or touch or whatever, it gets assigned here. So there's two Fire1s. There's one for the left control on the keyboard and one for joystick. I imagine it's the joystick one that we're firing. I'm not sure exactly, but it seems to work. That completes the three things we wanted to do in this video. The first was the animation event, the Gui button, and the script that tied them all together to create this player attack. So if we look under Animator, we can see the transitions. When I click, it goes from any state to attacking, and then idle when the animation is finished, and if I hold, it continuously attacks, which is exactly what we wanted. So thanks for watching, and if you guys have any questions, please comment and subscribe and like and do all that.